with financial influencer Dani Ahmed. Good morning, Mas Dani.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
All
First of all,
right.
before
Hi, Sabira.
thank you for
Hi.
joining us, by the way, on the C Morning Show.
All right.
So-
I'm
Yeah.
so excited to learn about
Thank
this
you for
ETF.
having me.
All right. So before we start with our line of questioning, what exactly is a financial influencer?
Actually, I will not define myself as a financial influencer. I'm a financial blogger. I blog about finances and I share my little knowledge of finances so that people can do and manage their finances by their own. Because so many, our friends still don't know about how to manage their finances.
Yeah.
Including us here
Yeah.
in the studio. which is
Including me,
why-
especially
why-
me, because I have no idea about,
Yeah.
ETF or investment.
Yeah.
I know about gold investment, but
Sure.
I have know nothing about, money.
Basically, Shafira has a lot of money and she doesn't know what to do with it. So we're going to try to help her out here today. So, Mas Dani, what is an ETF? We do know there's similarities with stocks and mutual funds, but what makes ETF different?
Yes, ETF is actually just another kind of mutual fund. We already familiar with mutual fund and so many people already use mutual fund for their investment. While ETF is another kind of mutual fund that we can trade in the market directly, just as its name, exchange traded fund. So what makes ETF different is that ETF composition is directly mimicking an existing index in the market, just like LQ45, IDX30, or maybe Srikahati. So ETF fund is copying that index, and the composition inside the ETF just like the index that they copy. And different with the regular mutual fund. When you buy regular mutual fund, you will use selling agent, just like a bank and then online app like Bibit, Bareksa. But well, for mutual fund, we will use our brokerage account and we exchange directly in the market, just like publicly listed stock shares.
Oh, okay. So we can do it by ourselves, basically.
Yes.
So for the first timer, especially young generation wants to start investment using this method, using the ETF. How does ETF work? Is it hard to learn, especially for the first time, Mas Dani?
For the first timer, I will recommend using the regular mutual fund because the regular mutual fund is actively managed by the investment manager. They will select what kind of portfolio inside the fund. While for the exchange traded fund, we have to trade actively in the market. The management of the fund itself is passively managed by the investment manager. So they just copy the index. While for the active mutual fund, they will select actively. So that is why for the ETF is cheaper than actively managed regular mutual fund.
Oh, okay.
But is it okay for newbie, for a new investor to invest in ETF? Yes, because as you mentioned before, it has the advantage of diversification in it.
Okay, so how do we know that we are ready for this? I mean, I myself have, dabbled in mutual funds back in the day. So I'm still not sure as to when somebody would feel like they're ready to try
The
ETF as opposed to, if they're already comfortable enough, let's say, and they want a little bit more flexibility, or what would make somebody who is already used to being in mutual funds want to switch over and try this particular instrument?
For me, if you have a long-term goal, long-term investment goal, or maybe financial goal that you want to achieve far in the future, maybe for pension fund, or maybe you want to buy house like for in 15 or 20 years, using mutual fund is more preferable than using ETF. I mean, it's more preferable than using regular mutual fund, actively managed mutual fund. Why? Because in ETF, it consists of the stocks that already selected inside an index.
I see.
Like LQ45 or IDX30. They have, like IDX30, for example, it has the 30 most liquid stock in the market and put in the ETF.
Yeah.
So when you buy that one and you use it for long-term goal, it will give you more opportunity for your money to grow far in the future.
Oh, okay. So basically, this ETF is suitable for the one who
If you have a
knows
longer
the
term goal.
long-term
Sure.
goals, but not
Yes.
not as exception. They want to start using the ETF for the first timer. Me personally, if I want to start using this ETF methods, probably I care about the profit margins. Can you please describe about the
Yeah.
profit margins, Mas Dani? And is it higher compared to stock trading?
Actually, I just had a conversation with one of investment managers a couple days back, and we discussed a bit about ETF. According to their research, out of the 23 index funds that are in the market, 52% beat the Jakarta Composite Index performance.
Wow.
So the ETF itself, because it contains already the selected stocks in the index.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's already contained the best the best stocks that available for certain index. So it is better than when you pick a single stock that you invest in.
Sure.
So I think if you're still new to the stock market and you still cannot choose which stock that you should invest in, it is always better option to invest in ETF.
Yeah, my friend explained it to me like this. If you think about a stock as a single stick, then you try to break that stick. It's pretty easy. But if you have mutual funds, it's like holding 30 different sticks together.
Oh, but you try to break it. It's
they're
even
stronger.
harder.
And that refers a lot to the risk as well. Like if one stock goes bad and you lose all your money, in mutual fund, if one stock goes bad, you're not going to lose your whole investment because you have your eggs in many baskets. Now, speaking about risk, Mas Dani, how does risk equate when it comes to ETF? Is it similar to mutual funds as well? Is it because we do know mutual funds are a lot safer than stocks?
Yes. Speaking about risk, unfortunately in Indonesia, ETF product is still relatively new. Unlike in the US market, that ETF is already very big. In Indonesia, out of the total mutual fund portfolio, ETF only consists of the exact number is 2.57% out of the total portfolio. The total asset under management for mutual fund as per December 2021, it was 500 something trillions, while for ETF it's still only 14 trillions, a little bit over 14 trillions. So still very small portion of the fund in the ETF. So the risk will be liquidity when you invest in ETF. So when you buy ETF now and you want to sell it like next week or maybe a month later, maybe the market is not there. Nobody wants to buy ETF maybe.
Oh,
So
wow.
when many people wants to sell, but nobody wants to buy, then the price will drop.
Sure.
Because it's just like stock.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
That is the biggest risk that we have in ETF.
Well, then let
now.
me ask you a follow-up question then, Mas Dani. Let's say I do want to invest for long term, so I'm not thinking about selling it next week. How do I know that the ETF market itself is going to grow by the time, years down the road? Are we
can we
guaranteed?
calculate it?
Yeah, looking at other countries, perhaps we can follow the trend, but what do you think?
Yeah, that is very easy because like 5 to 10 years back, maybe there is no ETF in Indonesia at all. No market in Indonesia, but currently it's already 14 trillion.
Okay.
Wow.
And people already understand about ETF. At least they know and they start to aware that ETF is there, and it is one option that is better than picking single stocks, because so many individual investor like me and Safira and Paul maybe when they invest in single stocks, they lose their money because they don't know what happens in the stock, and then they don't know when to enter and when to exit.
Okay.
And then there is ETF when we can buy all the shares in one index, and we get the benefit of the diversification itself. So for me, it's a safe bet
So it's
holding
promising
ETF for a longer period.
investment.
Would you say, is it safe to say then, in your opinion, this is a good time to get in?
Yeah.
Actually, the best time to get in is 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
wow.
second
So
best time is
we're
now.
pretty
Good point. Good
5
point. This
years
is the second
late.
best time to get in.
So, well, better late than never,
Exactly.
probably.
It's never too late.
Never too late. So, Mas Dani, how do we choose the right ETF for us? Is there any specification or you have any tips?
Because ETF is based on an index, it just based on your preference, what kind of index that you would like to invest to. Because there are so many indexes. In my data, I just did some research. There are 40 indexes in our Indonesian stock market, just like LQ 45, IDX 30, and then BUMN 20, and also Serikahati. If you feel like to invest in companies that involves in environmental and sustainable development,
Yeah.
you can invest in Serikahati index. So you can buy ETF that mimics Serikahati index.
Okay.
If you only want to invest in 30 Indonesia biggest and most liquid companies, you can invest in ETF that mimics IDX 30. Or maybe if you prefer Syariah investment, you can also invest in ETF that copy ISSI or GCI 70. Sorry, Jakarta Islamic Index 70.
Oh, there's an option for the
Yeah.
Sharia as well. How about healthcare? I think it's more promising for the
definitely.
healthcare
Yeah.
sector.
These
because-
days.
These days. Or we're late 5 years.
Maybe perhaps.
We should buy it 5 years ago, Paul.
Yeah, so in the meantime, now that the future is already here, we
Yeah.
hear all the time about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. We've also actually heard that that cryptocurrency investment, ETF rather, can be a cryptocurrency investment instrument or vehicle as well. Is that actually true? And how does it work?
Yes, but not in Indonesia. Indonesia still don't have the ETF for the cryptocurrency because in Indonesia, cryptocurrency is still considered as the commodities. Trading, right?
Right.
But in US market, they already start selling the ETF for cryptocurrency. So instead of picking individually cryptocurrency, maybe I only know Bitcoin and then Solana and then
Right.
Ethereum. So I buy individually them. But then in the ETF for cryptocurrency, the investment manager there, they will put the cryptocurrency that they think the best in the market, and you can just buy the ETF for the cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there is still no cryptocurrency ETF in Indonesia yet.
Not yet.
Not
Then
yet.
again, there was no
I think
ETFs
there
5
will
years
be.
ago either. So there you go.
Remember about 5 years ago. And also it's also happened with the Bitcoin, probably.
Yeah, lesson learned.
Because,
Yeah. So yeah, Bitcoin as well, right? So
Yes.
you will eventually, hopefully, will be able to access that.
So we can buy Bitcoin by ourselves?
Well, no, you can get a whole ETF, which is several cryptocurrencies into one, all the best ones.
Yes.
So you get like a package deal, if you
Oh,
will.
wow.
I have to explain things in shopping terms to Shafir.
I
but
will.
she'll understand
I'm
it
going to
right
learn
away.
from Paul. I think she's one of the investment manager.
I should be. So, in order for me to do so, I need some tips here, Mas Dani.
Yes.
So, give us some do's and don'ts when it
Please
comes to
share
ETF
with me,
investment. if you
Paul.
will. Yeah.
And Mas Dani.
Yes, please.
Yes. For investing in ETF, I mean, the benefit that you will get in ETF is that cheaper fees, because unlike the regular mutual fund, the ETF is passively managed, as I mentioned before. So the fees is definitely lower, and then the flexibility that you can get, unlike the mutual fund that we can only buy now and then we know the price of our buy tomorrow. In ETF, we can know the price of the ETF directly at the moment because it is actively
It's a real
traded
time,
in the market.
right.
Okay.
Yes, it is real time. And then if you want to sell now, yes, you can sell it now as long as there is market for the ETF. And if you want to buy ETF cheaper, you can buy from primary market. So there are two markets for ETF, secondary market and primary market. Primary market, you buy directly from the investment manager, not from the market. So
Okay.
you can contact the investment manager, you want to buy the ETF, but for that primary market, you need to buy minimum 1,000 lot for the ETF, which one lot of ETF is 100 unit, just like stock. So if you want to buy in the primary market, you need to buy 100 unit of the ETF. If the price is 500 rupiah times 100,000 unit.
Wow.
So need more
Pretty
money,
cheap.
but it is definitely cheaper.
Cheaper, yes.
No worries about that. Plenty of
Yeah.
money. Shafira's got it. She's got it.
Because, you know, because I tried to calculate with the money, I was about to ask Mas Dani, if related with the amount, I need to know how many, how much money that I have to
Exactly.
prepare to
That's
buy
right.
the ETF.
Whatever that
Ah.
number is, I'm sure you've got it.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
One unit of ETF is only 500 rupiah. And you need to buy minimum one lot. One lot is 100 unit.
So
100 times 500 rupiah is only 50,000
That's it.
rupiah.
Yeah, there you go, $5.
Very, very cheap.
Yeah.
It's
There you go.
cheaper,
You
right?
can treat me.
Now
Buy
I
me
can
some ETF,
understand
Shafira.
when the money comes up. Now I understand. It's easier
Yeah.
for me.
You just need the numbers, right? Exactly.
exactly.
Anyway, Mas Dani, thank you so much for this in-depth look into ETFs. It looks like definitely a sound and
Sure,
wise investment. How can we reach you and read about your financial blogs, by the way?
Yeah, you can always read my blog, danirachmat.com, DANIRACHMAT.com, or
Okay.
maybe you can visit my Instagram profile at danirachmat.
Okay,
Right,
Mas
perfect.
Dani, thank
Good
you
stuff.
so much,
Thank you, Mas
Mas.
Dani. We really do appreciate it. Have yourself a
Thank you
wonderful
so
day.
much.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Thank you for